Welcome to Memorial Cooking Innovations. I'm Tim Scallon.
And I'm Manuel Marini, Executive Chef.
You know, here we are at the Polk Education Center one more time, here in the kitchen, cooking up some exciting food. What's on the menu today?
Well, it's going to be exciting. We got a mixed green casserole. That's something different, right?
It's very different.
We're all used to eating traditional mixed greens and stuff, but we're going to do a casserole. Compared to the old traditional green bean, we're going to do mixed greens. How's that?
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because when we were developing this recipe, we started with the green bean casserole idea. This was like the idea that we started with. And you wanted to do something different, and so we thought, well, greens are a seasonal.
Local favorites also, so why not?
Yeah.
And then we're going to do an apple glazed pork. How's that?
Ooh, now, wait a minute. Is that on my diet?
It is.
Okay, because the pork loin is one of those lean cuts of meat.
Exactly. So what we're going to do is we're going to roast the pork with a little rosemary, garlic, and then once it's roasted in the oven, we're going to saute some apples. So that's exciting. And then we're going to top it off with a strawberry roll. How's that?
Okay.
So that'll be fun.
So now you're getting a little fancy on us here, Chef Manny.
It is the old fancy, but we want to make it fun.
Now, but are you sure that just me, a regular old East Texas dietitian, can I cook this at home?
Oh, I know you can.
Okay, well let's do it.
I know you can.
Let's start with those greens you're excited about.
Excellent. Here I got a nice hot saute pan. We're going to add a little bit of olive oil.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
We're going to saute the mushrooms.
Okay. You know, Chef Manny, I was talking to Santa on the phone here recently, and I was asking him about, I was asking him about some Christmas presents, but what he said was that he had been noticing how much my cooking had improved. And I said, well, Santa, you know, Chef Manny's been a very good influence.
Well, that's
on
good.
Me. Yeah, he said, yes, I've noticed, and I watch your show all the time. Can you believe that? Santa is watching Memorial Cooking Innovations.
In the internet, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I guess he's going to memorialhealth.org.
Exactly.
Of course, you know, Santa sees everything, so I wasn't really surprised, but I kind of was.
So what we're doing right now is we're going to saute the mushroom, onions, and this time I did put the garlic.
Okay. Okay, so this is a little different. You usually save that garlic
Save that for last,
later.
but we're going to make a casserole, so it's going to cook, so it's going to flavor everything.
Okay.
So we're going to let this, and if you don't mind, Tim, I'm going to switch over to your area.
Yep.
While I get this one hot.
Okay.
And then this will start heating up pretty soon.
Okay.
And then we're going to add our red peppers,
which
I have right here. So it's sizzling right now. You see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're going to add that.
A lot of color here.
It's going to be beautiful.
So you've got the white onion, you've got the brown mushroom, and you've got the red pepper.
Peppers, and then with the green.
Yeah.
So it's
red and green.
It's a holiday color, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And I do have our greens right here, which you know, this time we actually using frozen.
Okay, so normally we would use fresh greens, but you decided to use frozen
because it's year round. This is something that we could do any time during the year. Don't wait for the holidays.
Okay.
You know, a lot of times green bean casseroles or any type of casseroles are a certain time where everybody has it on their menu, but this is something we can have all year round.
Okay.
So.
And you know, when you taste these greens, okay, I have to tell our viewers, you know, we do a Memorial Cooking Innovations Live the third Thursday of every month here at the hospital, excuse me, at noon, and it's open to the public. Well, when we do this show live, the aromas, and you also get to taste the foods that we eat. And we had, remember when we did collard greens last January? And we had people telling us that, well, I never liked collard greens until I tasted yours. And so
we find a lot of people never get into that certain thing until they have ours, and they really, you know, like artichokes. That was another one. Artichoke was artichoke was one of them.
Yeah.
Remember, they never liked artichokes.
Yep.
And what I did was I thawed it out a little bit, so the water sits on the bottom.
Okay.
Because we are going to add a little bit of chicken, low sodium cream of chicken soup.
Okay. All right. And so we start with a saute, and you see us do this a lot on the show. You know, saute is one of those cooking methods where you can get some browning sometimes. You can release flavors with heat, but not use too much fat.
Not use too much.
Okay. And you know, I just kind of want to stir this. You got something?
Yeah,
There we
I got
go.
you a spoon right here, Tim.
All right.
So you can take care of that.
You know me, I love to stir things. That Tim, he's always stirring. I've heard people say that.
And that's nice and colorful, isn't it?
Yes, it's beautiful. You know, one of the things that you hear in the kitchen all the time is that people eat with their eyes. Okay.
And we're going to put a little bit of nutmeg.
Okay, just a pinch of nutmeg.
Just a pinch, just a pinch.
That's an interesting seasoning.
We want a little flavor.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
And a pinch of black pepper.
Just a pinch of pepper. Good, good. Notice how we're getting some different flavors in this. And then here comes...
This is going to be like our base, which is a
Okay.
nice, it has a really nice flavor.
Okay. Which is the soup.
The soup,
Okay.
the cream of chicken.
Cream of chicken soup. All right.
Okay, so we're going to heat that up.
So this is starting to... this isn't really going to be like the green bean casserole because the texture of the greens is going to be different than the green beans.
Yeah, but we're going to cook it off, so it's
Yeah.
really going to cook off to a nice soft, because you know greens are kind of tough, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay.
We'll let that cook there for a minute.
All right. And you know, greens are a good source of calcium. And remember, calcium's not just good for building bones, it's also calcium relaxes the cells of our blood vessels and helps lower our blood pressure.
And that's good to know.
Yeah. Okay, so...
That looks really good.
Yeah.
All right, nice. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to transfer it to the pan right here, if you don't mind,
Okay,
Tim.
you want me to do that?
Yeah, you can do it. I know you
Okay.
can.
Well, you know, this isn't like the chef doing it. You know, it's not always going to be as good, but I'll do the best I can. I mean, after Santa told me that my cooking's getting better, well, I'm starting to get a little more confident.
That's perfect. You know that we got preheated the oven
Okay.
at 350
Okay.
right when we got started. And this is just like you. I mean, the family can do it all together.
Well,
you know, get everybody involved in cooking.
Let me burn you with this.
Beautiful, Tim.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
You can put that one in the sink.
All right.
Then I am going to transfer this one back here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of breadcrumbs, okay, Tim?
All right.
We're just going to sprinkle the breadcrumbs.
Okay.
It's going to help absorb some of that liquid.
Okay.
So that's beautiful.
And would these just like be breadcrumbs? Tell me about breadcrumbs. Was this a piece of toast that you ground up?
Yeah.
or-
We put the day-old bread in the oven
Yeah.
and just let it dry.
Dried out. Okay.
And then we just chop it up.
Okay.
Or, you know, we got a buffalo chopper, which is
Okay.
a big machine that just kind of grinds up. And it does call for a little bit of Parmesan cheese.
Okay.
And this is where your sodium is, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why we didn't add no sodium earlier.
Yeah. Notice how he's just using just a sprinkle.
Just a sprinkle, because we want it to look really nice.
It's a strong flavored cheese.
So, 350.
Okay. Into the oven, 350.
Into the oven at 350.
And notice how we didn't use any salt in this recipe. A lot of times, if you're going to use Parmesan, you don't need salt. Of course, it depends on the recipe. Okay, so what's next? We're going to start your pork loin.
Next is the pork loin. And the recipe is pretty simple. We got some fresh rosemary and garlic and a little bit of olive oil. And I got the pork right here.
Okay. Well, you know, I've got rosemary growing that's still alive in my herb garden. I had to bring them all in because it's so cold outside.
Excuse me for 1 second, Tim. I got a little parchment paper here. I'm just going to lay it down because it is raw meat.
You know, some people avoid pork because they think of it as an unhealthy food, but you know, if you're talking about, that's true if you're talking about high-fat cuts of meat like bacon or sausage or ribs, or you know, cured meats like bacon or ham would be lean, but it's high in sodium. But this pork loin is relatively lean.
It is. It's really nice. You can buy it in your local supermarket. So that's real nice. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna rub a little bit of olive oil, and that's gonna help stick the parsley, the garlic, and the rosemary.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do this real quick. If you don't mind, Tim, I have my parsley over there.
Yep. And you, okay.
Go ahead and sprinkle me some over
Okay.
here.
All right.
Only because my hands are all
Yep.
oily and stuff.
Got oil. Yeah.
So go ahead and put me a little bit more.
I want this in just
The
a
rosemary's
moment.
there,
Okay. Okay, now in the event that I didn't have fresh herb on this,
Use dry.
and I could use dry then.
And I have some fresh one here, but this is, we talked about this. The dry seemed to have a stronger flavor.
It's more concentrated.
It's more
because
concentrated.
It's
So
dried.
you don't want to add too much, but you know, a lot of people do like rosemary.
And rosemary goes good on pork.
Yeah. And then let me have a little bit of garlic.
Okay. Oh, I can smell that.
It's nice, isn't
It
it?
smells wonderful. A little bit of garlic. Okay. I'm going to need that. Let me get this spoon right
Okay.
here. Okay.
We're just gonna rub it really good. You can go ahead and drop the
Okay.
whole thing, because we're gonna stuff it.
Okay.
You can smell it. We haven't even cooked it
smells
yet.
wonderful, yeah. Just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Garlic never hurts, right?
Love garlic.
Garlic is actually good for you.
Yep.
Now,
Yep.
let me rinse my hands real quick, Tim.
Okay. Okay, and you know, talking about garlic, fresh garlic has 7 times the antioxidant, sorry to say flavor, but the antioxidant benefit of dried garlic. So that's a real, and that's generally true for all fresh herbs. They're much higher in the health beneficial elements than the
Smell.
dried.
That is so good. Now what we want to do is we want to sear it. We want to get all the flavors, everything nice and neat, and then we're going to finish it off in the oven. Meanwhile, we're going to work on the sauce.
Okay, and so when you say sear, you're talking about cooking it
on
at
the
a
outside,
high temp.
high temp on the just on
Just
the
cooking
outside of
the
it.
outside to seal in the
Flavors inside.
Yes, okay. And so I guess you're also, in addition to the flavor that is caused by the browning of this meat, you're also injecting that flavor into the meat of the herbs and the garlic, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Smell that? Oh, that's so good, huh?
Smells wonderful.
So now we're going to put it in the oven.
Okay.
Beautiful.
All right. And so we're just going to let that cook, and now you're going to start your sauce, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we're going to start the sauce.
Okay.
The sauce is pretty simple. It consists of some nice apples.
Okay.
Okay, Tim?
Yeah.
We got some cranberries. We got some grapes. A little bit of onion, a little bit of garlic again. You know, we're going to finish it off.
Okay.
We're going to add a little bit of parsley and the same herbs that we added to it. We're just going to make the sauce.
Go into the sauce.
So
Okay.
yeah. So what we're going to do is add a little bit of olive oil.
You know, Chef Manny, I had one of our viewers call me and say she wanted this recipe. She had seen the recipe in the newspaper, because you know this recipe comes out in the Lufkin Daily and also in the Nacogdoches Daily Sentinel. And she had misplaced her papers, but she wanted to use this recipe for her guests that Saturday night. And so if that ever happens to you, if you happen to see our recipes in the paper and you misplace it, just go to memorialhealth.org and you can find not only our current recipes, but all the recipes we've done in the past. And you can also go on and see past shows. You can see Chef Manny doing those collard greens we did last January.
And last week when we had our live show,
Yeah.
one of the guests wanted also to see if we can do it again, and I said sure, why not?
Yes.
Why not? Because it's
do
just
those
something.
greens again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, one thing that they ask me sometimes with the apples is they're kind of glowy. Why?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a wax that they add.
Yeah.
Did you see that? And
Yeah.
it was actually on the news not too long ago.
Yeah.
Because of the freeze.
Yes. Well, and also that wax, it protects the apple, it protects the color, and it's an edible thing. And you know, it's not something we should be afraid of.
Exactly. So you might see some more waxier than others, but don't be afraid. Just wash them really, really good. And even though you do wash them, sometimes the wax does not come off.
Oh, I was just going to stir those, but you took care of it already.
I
okay?
sure did.
All right.
If you don't mind, now we have a choice. We can do this. We can leave whole
Whole grapes.
grapes, or if you want to cut them in half, I got a little knife.
Okay. Nothing really hard about this. How many? A few more?
A few more.
Okay.
So we're just lightly sauteing these.
All right.
And then we're going to add a little bit of vegetable broth.
Okay. And this vegetable broth, in fact, we get this at Brookshire's. is a low-sodium vegetable broth. And you know, I end up using this all the time. It's a great soup base.
It is good.
Okay, how's that?
Very good.
Va bene?
Va bene. So we're going to add these.
All right, you're looking good.
We're looking good.
Looking
We're
real
going to add
good.
a pinch of rosemary.
Yeah.
Is
You, you know, when you're making a sauce, just as a cooking tip, you're always going to use a thickener in a sauce. And, you know, thickeners can be flour, cornstarch, they could be potatoes, and there are other thickeners. And the basic rule is you want to...
A little garlic, okay, Tim?
Okay. You want it, a rule of thumb would be 1 tablespoon of flour to 1 cup of liquid. Does that sound about right?
Sounds about right.
Okay. And so it could be a little more for a thicker or a little less for a thinner sauce.
This recipe calls for a little bit of cornstarch with water. Now, I still have a little bit more broth.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to add a little bit of apple jelly.
Okay.
Okay? And that might help us thicken it up somewhat.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's actually going to dissolve itself shortly.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll help us thick. It'll kind of protect and coat the vegetables and give it a nice little flavor to it.
Okay.
And then we'll just let that sit there for a few minutes.
And so when you're making a sauce with a thickener, you know, a trick that, in fact, you're doing in this recipe to keep the starch from clumping is to mix it with cold liquid before you add it to a hot pan.
Exactly. And we'll show our viewers that too.
Got some beautiful color in this.
We're going to save the parsley for last because that's really going to give it that nice look.
Mm-hmm.
So Tim, how's it looking? Good?
It looks great.
Okay, the cornstarch. I got
Okay.
some nice cornstarch.
All right.
We're going to add a little bit, if you don't mind, add a little bit of cold water.
Okay. All right. So this is to keep it from clumping.
This is, yeah, it's exactly. Now, a lot of people ask me,
Is that okay?
it gets a little cloudy. How can you keep it from getting cloudy? Because, you know, if I add it to this liquid, it's going to you got to let it cook.
Yes.
You know, just like any roux or, you know, you just have to let it cook. And don't add it all at one time just because it says one, you know. Add a little bit at a time and to see how thick you want it. Because once you add it, then you're going to start adding more liquid just to thin it out some. And you don't want that. You lose all the flavor.
That's right.
So, you know, it doesn't hurt to just add a little bit at a time.
You want me to
and,
start?
Yeah, and
You're
you can
gonna
just shake it
start.
like this. How's that?
Okay, yeah.
Because it will thicken up real fast, see? So we don't want it to be real thick and lumpy. We want it to be nice and smooth and shine. It shines. So.
Well, and another thing about a sauce using a thickener with cornstarch or flour, you know, you always see recipes say boil it for 1 minute. And what they're doing there is the very thing you were saying. It clears it up and it also cooks the starch.
Yeah, and you
so
know,
it doesn't taste pasty.
Okay.
That's
So,
beautiful.
I'm going to get out of your way for a minute, Tim.
Okay.
Because I am going to flip my cutting board and we are going to pull the pork out.
Okay.
And you got to be very, very careful because it is really hot.
Okay. All right. This is just looking beautiful.
That looks good, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. You know, the traditional East Texas way would be to cook this pork loin and then put like a brown gravy on it or something. But what you've done is you've created
Look at that. That's nice, huh?
It's beautiful.
Nicely seared.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you don't mind, where's my tongs right here?
So you've created not just a brown sauce. You've created something that has color and texture and all kinds of health benefits. And the aroma is telling me that this is going to taste great.
Beautiful.
Okay.
So let me put this away.
All right.
Oh, that was
Okay
hot.
to take this off the fire?
Yes, you can put it right here.
Okay.
So what I want to do, if you don't mind, can you hand me that little platter there?
Yes.
I am going to slice this pork.
It
Oh, it's
smells
hot.
divine.
Just be careful.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the smoke coming out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Beautiful.
like I said earlier, this could be a nice family type, you know, where you set it on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Notice how he leaves that end on. It's good presentation right there.
Okay. So now we're going to sauce it up,
Okay.
and everyone's going to enjoy this.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to put some in the middle.
You know, traditionally, pork is cooked with fruit. You know, it's a
I'll put a little bit of the juice.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, Tim. I won't get you.
I trust you, Manny.
How's
You know,
that?
Santa doesn't like you for nothing.
So he said I've been
beautiful.
good, huh? And then I told you I saved the parsley for last.
Oh, I
okay?
see. Look at that. It's just beautiful. Color, texture, aroma, flavor. You're hitting it all.
So that would be our roasted pork with apples and apple glaze.
Beautiful.
Okay. So we have our greens.
Okay.
Let me pull those out. Those are going to be
All
really
right.
hot. Ba-dam. Here we go.
Beautiful.
What's hot? So if you don't mind passing me a plate, Tim.
Okay. You know, one of my favorite parts of this cooking show is the tasting part. Okay.
We are going to, oh, it's hot. Nice sizzling.
Looks beautiful. Okay.
So like I said, this could be a nice family. We're going to, leave it in the pan, but I want to show the public how nice it looks and stuff with the mushrooms and everything else that goes there. So we can put it there.
So we'll set that there. So this isn't my portion then? This is what we're going to
this
serve
is gonna be
at the
ours.
table. It's family
Yes.
style. Okay.
That's our portion.
Okay. Okay, well, all we need now is a dessert.
All we need now is a dessert.
Okay.
All right, Tim. So now it's time for dessert.
Okay.
Now we got our mixing bowl.
All right.
What we're going to do is we're going to add one ingredient at a time. We're going to add the eggs. We're going to beat it. Okay. We're going to add the flour and then add the milk slowly. And then we'll add a little bit of the vanilla, the little baking powder, a pinch of salt, and a little bit of the powdered sugar.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
Rock and roll.
So here's your 2 eggs.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Go ahead and start that real slow, though.
Okay.
All right, Tim. Nice.
Okay, so.
Now we want to spread it out in the sheet.
All right. Okay, am I doing okay?
You're doing great. Just kind of center it off like right in the middle, just like you're doing.
Okay.
And we're going to bake it. We're going to bake it for about 8 to 10 minutes, okay? We don't want it cooked all the way because what we're going to end up doing is making a roll out of it.
Oh, okay, so you don't want it to
We want to be
crack
able to,
on
yeah, exactly. We want it to be able to roll it.
Be still a little moist.
Yes.
Okay. All right, now, if I were to do this right here, is that the right thing to do or no? You guide me, or better.
You can do it with the spatula. We just, it's just spread it out enough to.
What you're wanting to do
roll.
is to create a a rectangle and a very thin piece of cake is what you're doing.
Right, and it'll spread out as we cook it too as well.
Okay.
So again, we're going to throw it in the oven.
I mean, this is basically a sponge cake. It's just a homemade sponge cake that you are going to take out and roll up, spread with jam and roll up. Is that right?
Exactly.
Okay.
But if you don't mind, we're going to give it a little twist.
Okay.
Now, the recipe calls for a little jam, sugar-free, strawberry. You can use apple, peach, berries, whatever available. But what I like to do would be to maybe add some fresh fruit in it.
Oh, that'd be good.
Give it a little. We're still going to use your strawberry jam.
Yes.
But we're going to add fresh strawberries to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
And maybe some, non-dairy whip topping on top.
Maybe the low-fat, sugar-free. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So we'll dress it up a little bit, but we gave the
analysis.
Analysis was based on that.
And so what this means is for those who are diabetic and they're counting those exchanges, you'd want to use the sugar-free and you wouldn't add the fruit because it would add a little bit more carbohydrate.
Right.
Okay.
Tim, now that the pastry, the cake is here.
Yes.
Now I got some
strawberry
jam.
Yeah, this is
sugar-free.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is spread it. Okay. If you don't mind, do this for me while I'll slice some strawberries.
Okay.
You want to spread it really, really good. So here you go,
You
Tim.
want me to do that part?
Yeah.
Okay.
While you do that, I'll do this. And then we're gonna, like I told you, I like to add some fresh, and we can add some blueberries, we can add some raspberries, whatever in season. So this is, again, this is something that we should do more often.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun. People will enjoy, especially when it comes to desserts.
Mm-hmm. Well, and if you use something like, in this case, we chose the strawberry jam because it's a lot of color. And so whenever you roll this up, you end up getting a very colorful dessert.
And what I'm doing, I'm just slicing some strawberries.
I like the addition of the fresh fruit. You know, people who eat fruit every day, when you get in the habit of eating fruit, now I'm not counting this jam, I'm talking about those fresh berries you're adding, or just a fresh apple. Your skin integrity is better. You're getting antioxidants that lower your blood cholesterol and that even lower your blood pressure.
You're talking about the outer skin of the fruit?
Any fruit, and yes, the skin, a lot of times there's a lot of good things, like in the apple skin, don't peel it, just wash them good.
And that's what we did today?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, let me do one more real quick.
Okay.
And then the rolling part of it, and it's pretty easy. And don't be afraid if it cracks. I bet if we did it 2 or 3 times, we'd be very good experts at this, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so it's almost like doing a sushi.
Okay, I never did a sushi.
Okay, we have to do it one day.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to start, and then we pull the paper out and continue.
Can you hold that for me?
hold that real quick because it is a little slippery.
Mm-hmm.
And just keep rolling around.
Okay.
And like I said, if it cracks, that's okay. See how I pull the paper out?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go around. Let me pull this paper out of here.
Okay.
Turns out really nice.
Voila.
Okay. Let me get this out of the way.
That goes away.
That goes away.
Okay.
Now, when I told you, you know, it will crack a little bit, you know, once we get it done really nice. But, and I also told you that I brought a little whipped cream.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right, and this is something nice that we could do because it is a pretty dessert. So,
and you know, if you don't have, you know, in this case, Manny's got a commercial pastry bag. But if you don't have that, you know, you've taught us in the past to get a Ziploc bag.
a Ziploc bag, and just put it in there and you use the corners.
Just cut off the corner.
You know, this, I mean, and then we're going to refrigerate this, Tim.
And this is a sugar-free, fat-free whipped topping that you're using. So.
And it is available at the store.
Yep, yep.
Okay, turn around a little bit so I can get that side.
Okay.
And it will look really nice. Use whatever pastry bag or tip you like. And guess what? We made one earlier, Tim.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I'm going to refrigerate this one, okay? Because it's going to be really nice.
Yep.
So,
Ooh.
ta-da, Tim.
Whoa.
That's ours.
Wow.
Okay?
Love the way you decorate.
And this is the same ingredients that we had during the day. We got our grapes, or strawberries, or apples. You see
Okay,
that?
now let me ask this question. Now, if I didn't have a pastry tip, I mean, you used a pastry tip on this, but if
I didn't use it on that one. So, I mean,
what could I take like a fork?
yes, definitely.
and-
That's a great idea.
Okay.
That's a great idea. So that's a pretty dessert. Put it in the
Beautiful.
center of the table, and then when it's time to serve, we're ready to go.
And look how the center, look at the color that you've got. So when you slice this, you end up having a beautiful strawberry pinwheel. Well, Chef Manny, you've done it again. You've taken some good, fresh food and turned it into works of art.
And that was fun.
It's fun, it's delicious, it's healthy. You know, can you get any better?
So great food and fun cooking.
That's right. So come back next time to Memorial Cooking Innovations and we'll continue exploring this fun and this food.
Excellent.
Okay.